Welcoming you to a life of awareness, the Presence Project is excited for you to join us for today's podcast with your host, Paul Kerzner.
Hello and welcome to episode 27 of Are You Being Present? My name is Paul Kerzner. I want to welcome you to the present moment. I want to welcome you to the here and now. I want to thank you wholeheartedly, sincerely, and deeply for joining me in this amazing moment. I know I've been gone for a few weeks, but I'm back, and I'm here to present an amazing episode. The title and topic for this podcast is Ecstatic Dance for Presence, and I am joined by Carrie Smith-Hardee. Carrie is a conscious dance facilitator and one of the founding members of the Arizona Conscious Dance movement. Over the past month or two, I have had the pleasure and experience of dancing ecstatically in Tempe, and I also attended an ecstatic dance group in Oakland, California. And I have to tell everyone that it's been an amazing experience. It's been a very liberating experience to enter into safe spaces where I can just dance and let go and be around people who are just enjoying themselves, laughing, crying, whatever it is that they need to do in that moment. But more importantly, what they're doing in that moment is being present. And one of my objectives for this podcast has always been to present different tools and tips to help you, the listener, but also for myself, to be present. And to really be present, it takes a full toolbox for us to use different things at different times depending upon how we're feeling in that moment. Are we thinking about the past or the future? Are we ruminating? Where do we need to go? Who do we need to talk to? And so that brings us to this very present moment. Carrie, I want to welcome you to the podcast today. So
Hello.
Welcome.
Hi.
I think this would be a good moment for you to introduce yourself, talk a little bit about how you got involved in ecstatic dance and the conscious dance movement, and some of the things that you're working on and some of your interests.
Thank you. Yeah, so I facilitate East Valley Conscious Dance here in Arizona. Additionally, I'm a wellness arts practitioner of 18 years, and I'm one of the founders of Arizona Conscious Dance, which promotes conscious dance awareness throughout the state. And I got into ecstatic dance about 3 years ago. When I first began, I literally could not physically jump off the ground. I have a little daughter, and she would say, "Mommy, Mommy, jump." And I would bend my knees, and I would pretend to jump. I could hardly digest my food. My quality of life was very poor. I was struggling through an excruciating divorce. And recovering from a very, very difficult pregnancy. And now, if you saw me dance, you would never guess. You would never guess. And ecstatic dance gives people a place to completely let go to their heart and be in their bodies in the moment. That changes lives. It changes lives because people are invited to be in their authentic expression, in their authentic dance, substance-free. So this is a drug and alcohol-free space. Additionally, I encourage people to understand that caffeine is a drug, sugar is a drug, and they really want to be there experiencing their true letting go, their true authentic dance with nothing in their body other than their present moment. And when people can do that, it changes their lives. It changes their lives in ways that no one can take from them.
Well, there's definitely something primal about dance, and I think that has been extracted from our from normal life per se. I mean, I know that some people still do dance, but it's not one of the more common activities. And so I feel like right now we're on the cusp of a change. Just like how yoga exploded 10 years ago, and now everyone goes to yoga. I mean, or they've been to yoga, or they're planning to go to yoga. It's part of the nomenclature of what's taking place right now. Well, I feel like ecstatic dance, conscious dance, has that potential because it is such a part of our DNA, and it's been repressed for a little while, but people need a safe space. And that's one of the things that I noticed really quickly after attending a few conscious dance groups is that it really is a safe space. It's a space that people are not overtly judging other people. Now, they might be judging themselves, and I think we're all guilty of that every now and again. But there is an intention set, and that's been my experience. So I guess my question to you is, like, how do you create the safe space for the groups that you're facilitating?
Yes. And I want to say, like you were saying with yoga, there was a time when no one knew about yoga, and it was not so very long ago. And now people understand that as an amazing tool, and you find yoga everywhere. Conscious dance, ecstatic dance. If people knew about this, it would be in every neighborhood. And there are just amazing facilitators coming together to promote just that growth across the world. And what these people do who have this training is they create a safe space by educating their dancers about moving into their authentic experience. I tell my dancers, your dance may look like what you think of dance up to be, or your dance may look nothing like what you imagine dance to be, and all of it is welcome. People of all ages, all body types are welcome. And people can move whatever is really in them. They can move their joy from the week. They can move their sorrow from the week. They can move their anger, as long as they're doing it in a way that's respectful to others. When you hold space for that, people do come into their experience. It is amazing, and it is life-changing.
Mm-hmm. Holding space for people who are struggling to be in the present moment, struggling in life, due to varied circumstances, for them just to have an hour or two of peace and presence really gives a lot of perspective and allows for moments of clarity and forgiveness and a variety of different amazing human emotions. One of the things that I was struck by, or continue to be struck by at Ecstatic Dance, is how people emote. And that is there's a variety of ways there. We have laughing, we have crying, there's shouting, but it's coming out. And I think that's one of the more beautiful aspects of being in such a safe space, is that people finally feel like they can let go.
Yeah.
And we're conditioned in this society to hold a lot of things in. And, as being an acupuncturist, I could tell you that the more people repress, the sicker they become. So we need outlets. And conscious dance, ecstatic dance, is one of those outlets where people can be who they truly are in their truest and most pure essence. Because if dance is a part of our DNA, then we have to honor who we really are, and remember that we're part of something a lot bigger. But unfortunately, we have this tendency to separate ourselves. So going to an ecstatic dance group puts you into something bigger than yourself. And, yes, everyone's listening to the same music and everyone's dancing at the same time, but it's the vibration, it's the energy behind it all that really shows the beauty of the experience. About a month and a half ago, I was taken to an ecstatic dance group in Oakland. And I was just blown away. There were like 200 or 300 people there, and there was massage therapists. There was like a juice bar. I mean, it was really comprehensive. The setup and the caliber of people that were there, and the age range, and it was just so beautiful to see so many awakened and conscious people enjoying themselves and emoting all at the same time. Very powerful, very powerful. And I know Arizona is a couple steps behind California, and that's just being kind. But I think that's where we're headed. We're headed towards people awakening to the fact that these kind of movements are not only important, they're essential to feeling more actualized and more present as human beings, as souls, ultimately. That we want to be part of something bigger than just ourselves, and this is a key to getting there. The theme of the podcast is always being present, always. And I view ecstatic dance as an essential component of that. Whether you do it once a month, whether you do it once a week, whether you're just considering doing it, it doesn't matter. You at least need to understand that ecstatic dance is an experience that everyone should consider. Honestly, everyone should try. I know that there's a few dance groups here in Arizona, and I can only imagine that they're starting to pop up all over the country. And if you're in California, you have the pick of the litter, I'm sure. But and if there's not one in your area, maybe it's time to consider starting one. Carrie, I'm interested to know your observations and the changes that you've seen with the people that have come to some of your groups. Watching them awaken must be an amazing experience.
It is an amazing experience, and it is an honor to be a part of. When somebody is new to ecstatic dance, I always recommend that they come at least 5 times because it's a journey. And many times the first time people are just sort of finding their way. And it's an amazing thing to go home and write a sentence or two about in your journal. Notice who you are in dance when you're unsure, right? Notice who you are in your dance when you're feeling maybe sad, maybe it's been a hard week. Who you are in your embodied self when you're joyful, right? When you let your joy move through your shoulder and out your arm. Who are you in those moments? And it's a journey. And the beautiful thing about the dance community here that I'm a part of is we've known each other, many of us, for years, right? And that's an amazing thing because that means you've known each other as human beings, as imperfect, right? You've had enough time to annoy each other a bit and to still keep feeling bliss and authenticity together. It is just an amazing thing. And you mentioned California and Ecstatic Dance Oakland, and I had the wonderful opportunity this summer to train with Donna Carroll, who's the founder of Ecstatic Dance Oakland, through her Ecstatic Dance Leadership Conference. And it was the most amazing thing to gather with people from all over the world who want to bring conscious dance and ecstatic dance to their communities in such a heart-centered way. So this movement is growing, and it is offering people that journey.
Yeah. And like we were reflecting on yoga, I believe ecstatic dance has the potential to be the next yoga.
Absolutely.
And once someone actually experiences it for themselves, it's almost like a no-brainer. It becomes a really powerful outlet for expression, but more importantly for presence, because it's very difficult to really dance and not be present. Really, the only way to do that is to just be overly judgmental.
Yes.
So I guess one of the suggestions ultimately would be, really try to set aside any judgment for yourself or for anyone else while you're dancing.
Yeah, we definitely hold a judgment-free space. I let dancers know that we do a closing circle and we talk about it, where they really can just lean into what they feel. And I think that a challenge of being human is that there are these things in life that we want, right? These parts of ourselves that maybe we keep to the outside of our personalities, and people only get to those places maybe after they've had a drink, right? Or they're really exhausted. Inviting people into maybe their more difficult feelings, right? Inviting people into their uncertainties, inviting people into their sensuality, right? I want to invite them into all of those places with their feet solidly on the ground, right? I want them to embody the wholeness of themselves and move that and know that their eyes belong to them, their hearts belong to them, right? They have full right to make mistakes, and that they have amazing things in there, right? That we all need. We want it coming out of them. The other thing is most of us have opportunities in life to connect through words, and words are important. Not so often in life do we have opportunities to connect beyond words, right? Dance lets us connect beyond words. And the neat thing that happens in the ecstatic dance community is oftentimes you get people, that's really the way they've known each other. Right? The most time that some people have spent in those communities is dancing. And so when they finally get a chance to sit down and have coffee, it's like they're meeting someone new, right? we are healthiest as human beings when we're well-versed in both. You know, we know how to speak with our words and be clear and articulate, right? Strong and receiving, both. And when we know how to move from our embodied self and just flow and be with each other in that vibration.
So if the question was presented, who is ecstatic dance for? How would you answer that question?
Ecstatic dance is for human beings.
Very true.
Yes.
Of all ages.
Of all ages. Ecstatic dance is for people of all body types. Ecstatic dance is especially for people who feel like, I can't dance, right? Ecstatic dance is for that part of us that hears music and wants to move, but maybe sometimes feels afraid. It calls us out. It calls our whole selves forward and welcomes us. And that is an amazing thing. And you see people's lives change.
So true. You know, some people come to ecstatic dance and they observe. Some people come to ecstatic dance and will just lay on the floor and just take it all in. Some people will dance their butts off. You know, some people, I mean, it's such a garden variety of experiences that for anyone to say that's not for me, you know, is negating an opportunity to have a unique subjective experience that will take you possibly out of your comfort zone, which is probably one of the best things you can do for yourself. And when you're taken out of your comfort zone, that gives you an opportunity to be present more than anything. Or not. I mean, so it's a good reflection point, especially when you're challenging yourself. And so if you're looking for a new challenge, then I welcome you to visit Ecstatic Dance. Carrie, if one of our listeners or some of our listeners are in the Valley, where can they dance?
Every Tuesday night at Stars Ballroom, I host East Valley Conscious Dance from 6:30 to 8:30. And every Sunday morning, Phoenix Sunday Dance is at Paragon in Tempe from 10 till noon.
And, you know, a simple Google search for Ecstatic Dance or going on Meetup or Facebook, you know, where there's a will, there's a way, and it can be found. So don't put any obstacles up ahead of you. You know, if you're really sincerely dedicated to being present and trying new things, then I highly suggest giving Ecstatic Dance a chance. And, you know, like Carrie said, 5 times is enough for you to know. One time, you know, that's like learning how to swim and just dipping your toe in the pool. You really have to give it a shot. You really have to understand that this is an opportunity to really express yourself with presence more than anything. And again, to see where you're at in your life and what you're willing to do, how far you're willing to go. Are you really willing to challenge yourself? Carrie, I want to thank you for joining us today. I think that this is an important topic and a valuable subject and something that has the propensity to really shift a lot of people out of the past and the future, has the propensity to really help people start the healing process and experience life for what it really is, which is joyous. And, you know, dance supports that.
Absolutely.
So if there's anything else you'd like to add at this time?
Oh, thank you so much. And if you want to learn more about conscious dance here in Arizona, you can go to Arizona Conscious Dance Online, azcdance.org.
Perfect. Carrie, thank you. I want to thank everyone for listening, and I want to welcome everyone back to the present moment.
Thank you for listening to the Are You Being Present podcast, brought to you by the Presence Projects. Remember, you have a choice. Choose to be present.